When I first met Morgan Ann, I immediately noticed a standout characteristic about her: the effect she has on other people. While extremely difficult to explain, it's best summed up as the comfort she makes you feel as an individual. Those who know Morgan Ann know someone who will stand with them through their high moments and feel their low moments with them too.
Hi everyone, my name is Sean Harrington and I served as the 2015-2016 State Treasurer, and over the last year I've gotten to serve as Morgan's State Officer Mentor. When we first met, it became almost immediately clear we were maybe a little bit too much alike. But over the last year, I've done my best to support her through the bad times and cheer her on during her triumphs.
When I first met Morgan, I met someone with true, genuine passion. A passion to always strive for better. Good, bad, and indifferent, she's faced many hurdles and obstacles along the way, and that's only made her the strong person that she is today. I'm truly proud of that young lady and what she's become. It's my pleasure to introduce to you
My best friend,
my mentee, and your 2019-2020 State Northern Region Vice President, Morgan Hinz.
Hearing the waves crash against the rocks and feeling the sand between my toes has been a calming sensation ever since I was a little girl. I remember visiting my favorite beach here in New Buffalo, Michigan, where I'd spend days soaking up the sun and building sandcastles with my brother. Even when flooded with tourists, I could walk the shoreline and still feel like I was the only one there. While I was prepping as a state officer candidate, my mentor suggested that I spend some time to reflect on who I was and who I wanted to be. I traveled to this very beach, a place that I'd call my sanctuary, and spent hours in the sand with my notebook and thoughts. After those hours of watching boats drive by, I realized I still had a lot to learn about myself. When I imagined my future, I told myself it had to be the perfect, stereotypical Hallmark movie family. I'd have the white picket fence, the dream career, and a home large enough for a big family. I had my life perfectly planned out in order to be successful. I needed to be perfect in order to make those around me happy. And if I can be perfect, I will bring great pride to my family, and I would do all I could to make that become real. My mother and stepfather devoted their lives to provide me every opportunity to be successful in my future. And that's why I strove to be the perfect daughter. I would pull all-nighters working on academics to be a straight-A student. I would join clubs just because I could add them to my resumes. I pursued passions that weren't really mine, but they made others around me happy. I wanted the people that I valued most to see me as perfect Morgan. But after learning a lot, I realized that while my parents never said I had to be perfect Morgan, what parents wouldn't want their child to be perfect? On the other hand, my father was always transparent on what the perfect daughter looked like. I absolutely did not want the perfect idea I held for myself, and I even more so didn't want the idea my father held for me. I was to have that dream career that kept me on the farm and to serve my community. I'd have the white picket fence and a big home all to myself. While these two ideas of perfect Morgan clashed, I decided that I would become both, and not for myself, but because I thought it would make my parents happy. I told myself that I had to want this, that it was all I ever wanted. But after hours of sitting on this beach and thinking, I learned it wasn't all I ever wanted. Every day, I'd wake up and start the day just like everyone else. I'd walk to class and drive to events like normal. But inside, I knew it wasn't normal. I knew because I wasn't living my own life, but rather the one everyone else wanted me to live. I wasn't making decisions to chase my own passions, but rather to keep me closer to those around me. I was focused on what others were passionate about that I forgot what I was passionate about. I did not recognize who I was, but I was living the image everyone held of me. At least I thought they held of me. And even after I realized this, I still continued to be perfect Morgan, because I felt like if I wasn't, I would be letting those closest to me down. I tried so hard to be perfect that it felt like I was carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders. I realized too late that that weight was too much. I'd spend days walking this shoreline and really reflecting on who I was and who I really wanted to be. I was tired of being something that I wasn't, and I had to choose to be me no matter what that looked like. I stopped trying to be perfect for my parents, for others, and for myself. The image of a perfect Morgan drastically changed, and I was finally happy with who I was. Yet, as I began choosing myself, that image of perfect Morgan, that perfect daughter, drastically changed for my own father. I had to live in this vision of who I wasn't because it's what I thought was expected of me. I had to choose to live in an image of what I wasn't, or finally choose to be the person that I've always wanted to be. I had to choose me, and I decided to choose me. I no longer have a relationship with my father because of that, but I've gained to be the strong woman that I am today. I realize that my perfect is not living that white picket fence dream and being successful, but rather I just want myself to be happy with who I am. I learned that I hate being something that I'm not. I'm passionate about agriculture and healthcare, and I love being vulnerable and imperfect. I want to live out my own passions, love who I choose to love, and be the woman God always wanted me to be. I am me. For so long, I always assumed that my parents wanted me to be the perfect daughter. But it wasn't until I allowed myself to be vulnerable with them that I learned what they wholeheartedly wanted from me. It turns out they just wanted me to be happy too. For so long, I let the assumption of being perfect rule my life, when I could have just always been imperfectly me. I wasn't listening to the wise words of Taylor to be fearlessly authentic. As we both love Brené Brown, she says, "You are imperfect. You are wired for struggle, but you are worthy of love and belonging." We are far from perfect, but when we begin to let ourselves love, we can love our imperfections. Honing our imperfect selves will let us begin to live the life we've dreamt of. We can begin belonging to ourselves. When we choose to be our own perfect, we can be the person we've always wanted to be, live the life we've always wanted to live, and shamelessly love who we are. Indiana FFA, this is the beginning of anything you want.
This could change everything. Let it begin. Let it begin. Let it begin. Ooh, let it begin.
Morgan and Hinz, you're literally the strongest person that I know. All year you taught us to be vulnerable and true to ourselves, no matter what that may be. Whether it was literally becoming the happiest person in the world anytime someone said your dog's name, or sharing your love for red velvet cake or polo, and teaching us exactly what the word bougie meant every time you made one of your fancy meals. Thank you for teaching me how to order at Starbucks, for always being in my corner, and for being the best friend that any of us could ask for. Thank you for showing us that this is the beginning of anything we want. With much love, Dill, Katie Bell, Big E, Big Nate, Troy, and Grandpa. Indiana FFA, your 2019-2020 State Northern Region Vice President, Morgan Hinz.
This could change.